Hey everyone, this is Colby here, and we are bringing you our first ever webcast, and I'm joined by someone you may have never heard of, but probably have seen in a few of my clip vids and gameplays. Why don't you say something about yourself, Jaster, maybe a little bit of your gaming history up to where you are now playing with League of Legends.
Okay, sure thing. Well, basically, I don't know, as far as, like, gaming history would go, as far as online stuff, I started playing Battle.net when I was younger, like, with Warcraft 3 and stuff like that. Nothing really too old. And then from there, kind of, I don't know, I stopped gaming, actually, for a while. And then a friend of mine got me into Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike. Started playing that online, and then, like, the whole online kind of, like, quick in and out gaming on servers and shit, I got back into that. And again, another referral to this game, League of Legends. I started playing this about a year ago now, and yeah, I mean, just from there, I've actually just pretty much been playing this game and a couple of console games here and there. But beyond that, it's just been League of Legends.
So yeah, you and me have played a lot of games. When do you think I played my first game with you? Like, whenabouts was that in your history of League of Legends? Were you like, were you level 30 then? I honestly don't even remember. Do you?
Yeah, I was level 30. I think I was definitely level 30 when we first started playing. I know that for a fact, because when I was level 30, I actually started really understanding the mechanics of this game, and then I actively started searching out for guides, and I think I saw your video, and then I can't really remember actually how we met. Was it just like, it was through somebody else, was it not?
I don't know, honestly. I think you just added me as a friend, and then said, "Hey, let's play a game," and I said, "Sure." I think it was something like that, because I can't really think of...
Yeah, I creep added you. That was
it. You creep added me, yeah.
Yeah. I watched one of your videos, and you were like, add me, so I was like, oh, added you. And yeah, this was just before, it's probably like a little before your friend list got totally packed.
Okay, excellent. So were you involved in the beta at all, or?
No, I wasn't involved with the beta. I was playing, well, I don't know, is before Season 1 counted as beta? Because...
No.
Okay, good, then no, that I definitely wasn't a part of the beta. I was playing it, before, like, I'd have to say maybe 4 or 5 months before Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think was when I started playing, yeah, but there, so no, definitely not beta, though.
Do you have, this is a long time ago, but do you by any chance have any idea on how you found League of Legends?
It was a friend told me about it. Actually, I saw it a bunch of times on sites here and there, like some ads, like play for free, and I just kind of actually counted League of Legends as one of those shitty ones, like those fucking Civ games that you see, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so at first I didn't really pay any attention, and then a friend of mine was like, hey, download it, play it, it's free now. So I did that, and started playing, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of like Dota. Now, I didn't really play Dota that much. I played more Tides of Blood, even though they're kind of one and the same. I still, even Tides of Blood, I didn't really play that much of, so I wouldn't consider myself a veteran on any level, but once I started playing it, I immediately had that whole kind of familiar feel, and I just stuck with it, and I kept playing it. Yeah, I don't know, from there, I really like this game.
Yeah, it's a great game. As far as myself, feel free, you can ask me questions in reverse. It's not just going to be me pounding you with questions, but I'll talk a little bit about my history of gaming. I honestly didn't even play a lot of games until maybe or so years ago. I wasn't really the kid who played online games. I did more of the console type games, grew up on GoldenEye,
Oh, okay, yeah,
all of the N64s. I had all of those, all the Nintendo. I never really played any of the Game Boy stuff.
well, that's funny.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's funny that you say that because that's pretty much. I mean, I um, I played Warcraft and stuff like that, but as far as online gaming went, when I was young, like before 18, 19, that was the only kind of online gaming I was doing. Right, everything else was console, and it was funny, like just like you said, it was Nintendo, PlayStation, and all that other crap for me. Like I didn't really think of the computer as the thing for gaming. I was like, yeah, it's a computer. I can use that for porn if I want. That's pretty much it. I mean,
And
console.
I guess to be fair to some point, I mean, uh, online gaming 10 or so years ago is not like it is today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was very limited. You had like, the original StarCraft, the original MMOs. I never really played any like, RuneScape or anything like that. I pretty much missed all of that. But really the first online game where I joined a community was Team Fortress Classic. And I did that for about 4 years. If anyone's ever played Team Fortress Classic, it was the original of Team Fortress 2. And I did that, I was the 16-year-old kid joining clans and eventually, we built a clan and it was a huge community, but it was never really like out in the scene. Like you never saw it at any tournaments, but it was a pretty big community. And then from there, World of Warcraft, when that came out in 2003, that consumed my life for a good 4 years. Uh, I still today have never leveled up a champion, up to, I think it's what, 85 is the max now. I think my highest I've ever gone was 73. But, and the reason behind that is because since then, I'm playing other games like StarCraft 2, League of Legends, played a lot. I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of games in between. But yeah, really, World of Warcraft, League of Legends have been the games I've been playing. I've been playing League of Legends since closed beta. I honestly don't remember how I saw it. It was probably an ad, like you said. I'm trying to find some free games to play at the time, and yeah, no, I just got hooked ever since, and playing games for I guess closed beta. It's got to be almost 2 years because season one's almost been a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So you've had a lot of experience here.
yeah, I could tell you about the original stuff back, before, and you would have never even thought of. But
Most likely.
I remember the original website and everything, man. It was nothing like it is today or anything like that. So yeah, so that's I guess the history. We just wanted to give our little intro for everyone because this is the first cast that we've made together. Whether or not it's just going to be me and Jaster in the future, you know, whether or not just the two of us can hold a conversation together, I think we can. But there's just a few people we can think of, maybe bringing in a third or fourth or whomever, maybe some special guests too. That would be pretty cool for a couple of weeks. So really our first topic of agenda is to discuss the latest patch. Today is March 22nd. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. And the latest patch that came out was last Tuesday, a week ago today, March 15th, sorry. And in it was a bunch of changes to current champions, and as well as the newest champion, Nocturne, was released. And I guess how exactly we should do this, we're going to talk about Nocturne first.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, what did you think about him when you were playing it?
Well, I've played Nocturne a few times. He was one of the first champions. Like as soon as he came out, I purchased him right away. What I should say. Most champions like Cassiopeia, Jarvanite, I didn't buy right off the bat, but watching the Summoner Spotlight, I knew Nocturne was going to be a deadly champion to have. it was just such a good idea to come out with a new assassin, because I think they said mentioned in the Summoner Spotlight that they hadn't released one since Akali, and it was much needed, I think. As far as Nocturne as a champion, I haven't played him as a jungler. I know most people do. I'm not very confident at jungling in general. But as far as him, he's not the greatest laner, so I can see, him jungling. As far as him, being an assassination champ, being like a Rammus or a Kali, coming out of the bush, well, it's a 2v1, and having him ult and jump onto you is pretty much a free kill,
Yeah.
is what I've noticed. Uh, and for people who don't know, obviously his ult, Nocturne, reduces the sight radius of all enemy champions and removes their ally vision in the process, and then he can activate it again to launch himself and do damage based on his attack damage to the champion that he selected.
Oh man,
When
it's
that thing
basically a
procs,
blind.
when that thing procs, it scares the shit out of me every single time.
I know.
And it goes blue.
Even my ally does it, I'm like, oh shit, oh okay, no.
Yeah, I started thinking, okay, so who's dead? And really, you don't know unless you're in Skype, because the funny thing is if you're in Skype and you're playing with a full team, and
Totally
Nocturne
counteracts it.
result, you hear one guy out of everyone just say, "Oh shit, I'm dead." And
Yeah.
you're like, well, okay. I mean, it's a free kill, pretty much, if used correctly.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. When now I haven't played Nocturne, but I've definitely played against him because people have just been spamming Nocturne since he came out. I feel that people have gotten way too much of a boner off that spotlight and think that he can just dominate. So I'll get somebody ulting on me, like perfect example. I'm playing Renekton. I had about like I guess half health, right, and a full health Nocturne is coming in on me. Now my ult is up, so I'm pretty much like as soon as it goes dark, I'm like, okay, I think he's gonna jump for me. He jumps for me. I immediately ult, slice dice, twirl around him, stun him, and then I just keep going, and then he actually runs away from me, but I caught up and killed him. So, I mean, I just think too many people get gutsy with Nocturne because they think, like, oh yeah, he can pour out a lot of damage, but he can pour out a lot of damage, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be immediate, you know? Like, it's not, like, yeah, yes, he's an assassin, but it takes you a little bit to kill me, like, at least a few seconds, depending on your item build, right? So, and I mean, especially jumping a Renekton is retarded. I have a stun. I have my ult. I have all of these things. I mean, there's just there's just too many things that I can do to counteract a Nocturne coming getting in my face. So I mean, I don't know. I think he's definitely a viable champ, but there's too many people getting ballsy with him.
Do you foresee him being banned or even played in high-level games?
I don't know if it'll get banned because I kind of think that with his ultimate, it's easily counteracted if, like you were saying before, if everybody's on Skype. You know, it's like, oh, okay, so, you know, we know that Johnny over here is getting killed and everybody else is fine. All right, that's cool. You know what I mean? So it kind of reduces that whole, paranoia factor of paranoia, really. Like, people are just like, oh, okay, so everything's good. I just can't see anything for a bit, so I'm just going to back up to my tower. Okay, I can see again. Now I'm just going to go forward and continue as if nothing happened. You know, so, I mean, I can't see people getting too mad about him, about Nocturne to ban him, or at least spam ban him.
Yeah, I would agree with that, just because I don't think he's very well effective in team fights. I mean, he's more of the person who will catch the straggler by himself and he'll kill him. But as far as a team fight, he'll jump in, and then, like most assassins, he gets focused first.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a lot of survivability to begin with.
Yeah, he's got to play his cards right. You know what I mean? Like, you got to pick off those weak champs. You definitely can't. Sorry, you definitely can't go in like balls deep, right? Like, you have to have a plan with Nocturne. That's for sure. So, but as far as with team fights, I think that he does bring some stuff to the table. Like he can throw his Dustbringer through like a clusterfuck of enemy champions. You know, he can do he can fear one of them kind of deal, right? So he does have a bit of viability in team fights, but he's like you were saying, he can't just jump in and expect a victory with Nocturne.
Absolutely. Yep, agreed.
But I don't know. Another thing beyond Nocturne is Cho Gath here. I was kind of okay, all right. You know that patch. Well, obviously, we've talked about this before, but you know the whole patch preview, and they were saying, yeah, we're gonna nerf tanky DPS this patch. We're gonna take a good look at those guys. But what they should have just said was casters, because really that would have made a lot more sense. Like a lot more sense. There were hardly. I mean, there were a couple of tanky DPS nerfed. I mean, but not the most obvious ones, right? Like,
yeah.
There's Jarvan, there's Olaf, there's, you know, like if you want tanky DPS to take a hit, here's your most viable targets right there. You know, Olaf, Jarvan, Garen, all these people, right? Now, I'm not saying they need a nerf, but you're the ones who talked about nerfing tanky DPS, and that is tanky DPS. So how come I'm seeing Castan nerfs, Cho Gath nerfs, like all this stuff across the board? Now, somebody argued with me, like they were like, oh, well, Cho Gath is a tanky DPS. I'm like, well, how's that? Well, it spells. I'm like, okay, so DPS means damage per second. So unless you mean damage per large amount of seconds, then yeah, I totally agree with you. But if not, then you're wrong, because Cho Gath isn't pouring out, you know, consistent damage over time. It is burst with his pop up, scream, and if he can get a feast off, he gets it off. And then that's the DPS that he does. The rest is all tank. It's him tanking hits and obviously hitting other people with his melee strikes, and that's it. He's certainly more of a tanky caster in my opinion than a tanky DPS. So I don't know. Like to me, this patch should have been all about, hey, we're gonna nerf some casters and that's about it. I mean, they changed some things here around with Irelia, but I don't really know if she's considered a tanky DPS. Some people say so. I don't know.
No, absolutely. She's more of a DPS, like a Jax. I wouldn't consider tanky, or a Tryndamere, something like that.
Oh, really? You wouldn't consider Jax tanky?
Well, I mean, he can, because of the dodge, is really the only thing I would consider him tank. And then I guess at the end game, you know, if you stack AP, but I don't consider Jax a tank at all. No.
Oh, well, not a tank, I guess. See,
like when they say tanky DPS, they were talking about Maokai, although even though I wouldn't say he's DPS, but Malphite. Who else do we got here?
Exactly.
I'm just looking. Mord.
What? Yeah, fixed a bug.
Yeah, big deal on
that.
And
it was when they were lower than intended. So if anything, he got a buff.
Yeah.
Like it just, you know what I mean? It didn't really make any sense. But but anyways, moving on. Like I don't know. Like about Cho Gath. Like here's the thing, right? Like feral stream damage reduced. The cap was 275, was 300. Now it's 275. I didn't really understand that because really, yes, Cho Gath is a vicious tank, and a lot of people bitch about him. But that's where Cho Gath's viability lies, in his spells as far as damage goes, right? So I mean, why not nerf the silence duration? That to me would be a better approach instead of, you know, reducing the damage. But I mean, it isn't a huge damage reduction, so it's not like, you know, AP ratios weren't reduced, so it's not a big deal. But it's still kind of like, why reduce the damage? You know, like what's the point? And then, and this is what really kind of confused me the most, is when they buffed Vorpal Spikes. If anything that makes him more of a DPS character now because you're buffing something that makes his auto attacks hit harder. So to me, I just thought, why are you saying that you're nerfing tanky DPS and then making it not? Now, I'm not saying that it's viable. Oh yeah, put attack speed on Cho Gath and there you go, it's all good. No, I'm not saying that, but like now you're making it, you're subtly shifting it towards that arena. So it's like, why? Where's this? Just seems like a lot of contradictions happen. You know what I mean? Like there's the preview, and then there's the actual patch. So don't even fucking watch the preview, right? Like there's no point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I mean, how did you feel about it as far as the buffs and the nerfs went?
In general, or related to Cho Gath?
Well, I guess in general, I mean, because there are a lot of caster nerfs actually.
Well, I'll talk about Cho Gath here. First of all, I'm reading his Vorpal spikes, and ability ratio increased to 0.3 from 0.2. First of all, I didn't even realize.
You didn't even realize it
was with Vorpal Blade, so giving another 0.1, that's ridiculous. Who cares, honestly?
Yeah.
And then his Feast, his alt, got a huge decrease from 800 to 650 at the last rank. To me, when I think of Cho Gath's Feast at level 3, rank 3, to me I don't think 650 is enough, because I'm used to the whole 800 damage. True, they gave increased AP ratio, but 150 damage away from his rank 3 Feast, that seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty big
gap. I like that they kept the 300 at rank 1 and a little bit at rank 2, so I'm not too annoyed about that. And then base health reduced, okay, great. Armor reduced, great. I really base health I don't even think is, who cares, because at endgame the extra 30 health you have at rank 1 means nothing.
Well, and the carnivore mana received on kill was reduced again, and this time by 50%, which
I thought it was fine. I never once complained to the forums that Cho Gath is getting way too much mana back from his passive.
Yeah, exactly, right? I didn't think that it was a big deal. Sorry, I thought you were like, yeah, I didn't think the reduction by 50% was a problem. But I don't know, I think it is, because it's like, before the mana was negligible, now it's like, what the fuck's the point? Why is it even there? Why am I even getting that 5 mana back?
Yeah.
Or, this pathetic amount of mana back. Like, what's the point? But, powers that be.
And they've been playing around with, if we're looking at the tanky stuff right now, Malphite's Granite Shield. Okay, so the way to fix Malphite, in their opinion, is to change his shield from his passive. The reactivation time changed from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. That is pretty huge in the laning phase.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, that extra 4 seconds, you can walk up and poke him easily. And I mean, that shield was huge for him in the laning phase.
Yeah.
And what I'm interested to look at, I don't actually see it here, and I'm not sure what it is off by heart, but I wondered what, in contrast, what Garen's passive is. His heal, when you don't touch him.
Yeah.
Is that, because really he's tanky DPS too. I don't know.
Active shield.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a huge nerf from Malphite, absolutely. And
the ground slam bonus damage reduction?
That's stupid. I mean, Malphite, I always like to play Malphite. I like to go armor Malphite. Build him up, and use that grand slam. I've seen some high level armor items on Malphite, and he just demolishes you after using ground slam.
Yeah.
When it was up, 70 was a little bit too high. 50 is, I think, a little bit too low.
Yeah. Wait, I guess what?
Because really, I mean, if you build Malphite fully armor, you're gonna be worthless.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get one or two items that contribute to armor, maybe the boots, maybe Glacial Shroud or whatever. Um, I don't know. That's a big decrease in damage, I think, for him.
Well, it's weird to me the way it looks. It looks like exactly what they're saying, right? Like, yes, we're gonna put the nerf hammer on DPS, on tanky DPS, but are they gonna do it as drawn out as they did with Rammus, right? Are we gonna see like, oh, now Olaf and Garen are nerfed, or now Swain's nerfed, Because if you follow who they're nerfing, at least so far, it seems that anybody who can be considered tanky, regardless of what they're mainly considered as, for example, like Gragas or Cho Gath. Oh shit! I just lost my train of thought there. Actually, never mind.
Well, what the thing is with Riot, wanting to nerf tanky DPS or even tanks in general, I think that's a great idea because so many games it's just one, when everyone maxes, everyone's got, maybe Banshee Veil and so much health. It's hard to, it's almost hard to kill some of these champions, really. I mean, you pump so much things on them, but I don't think it's fixing it by changing damage done by a champion, such as their ability damage or their cooldowns. I think if they want to fix the issue with tanks and, the tank metagame at max level, they should change that part, just the tanks and not the ability of champions.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like I don't know, it seems like they're going about their solution in a roundabout way. And I mean, I'll readily admit that, I don't have an ear in Riot, right? Like, I'm not hearing their board meetings and shit, so I don't really know what's going on back there. And a lot of what I'm saying is conjecture and opinion. But it seems to me that if you're saying that you want to do this one thing, and you're going about it like this, you don't really know how to solve the problem. Like, as far as I'm seeing, right? I'm just going by the patches that I read and what Riot is saying. And it just seems to me that they're not, it just seems to me that they don't know what they're doing as far as what they say they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, and you're absolutely right, because, like I said, they need to change the whole, I think it's really the items and the way that health scales at endgame with items is the bigger issue than the actual damage done by champions, because I mean, having a team fight, 5v5 at max level, a mage or a range carry is going to do the same amount of damage to a Cho Gath, regardless if Cho Gath's abilities have changed. So,
Exactly.
I mean, if you change the abilities, yes, you'll survive against Cho Gath longer, but then you're just making the team fight drawn out more.
When you're saying that you want to shorten games.
Well, I think in a 5v5 team fight, I don't think Cho Gath should, if you focus, you're obviously not supposed to focus the tank, but
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here is they come out full health. Even you pump two or three ultimates on someone, one Soraka or someone heals you back to full health or something like that, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I think I would like to see mages and range carries do more damage at endgame towards. I mean, unless you feed, a carry, obviously. But I'm talking about if everyone's equal, it's an equal game.
It really just becomes a matter of catching somebody off guard at that
Because
point.
really, what happens? The mages and the range carries then they start going more tanky.
Yeah.
because, you know, the damage they do on their ability is fine. If they add a little bit of AP here or there. But if you don't have that HP, if you're at level 18 and you have less than 2,000 health, you're not going to survive very long.
No, not at all. I don't know, it's getting to the, you know, it's funny, I was kind of bouncing around the forums and I saw somebody saying the concept of glass cannon is now pretty much, null and void, right? Like, I mean, nobody builds a glass cannon anymore because you get fucked up the ass. It doesn't matter how much damage you're putting out, you will get fucked up the ass, and there's just nothing stopping it, you know? It's just, everything is now leaning more toward, get your survivability items, get as little, basically some of the champs that Ryze are putting out is invest as little damage as possible and get maximum survivability. And then at that point, you're still putting out enough damage to kill somebody while taking all the shots without dying. So I mean, it just seems to me they've created their own problem. As far as the champions they've released, the new ones. Obviously not all of the new ones, but a decent amount. Like, let's be honest. I mean, there's before Nocturne. Who was before Nocturne, right? Jarvan. Yeah, tanky DPS if I ever fucking met one. I mean...
And then even before him was Malphite.
Yeah.
Which they call tank. That's another topic for another discussion. But yeah, I mean, they built that champion with his ult to reduce, what is it? Is it 20% of all magical damage within that circle?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that right there just changes team fights completely.
Yeah.
If you have a Maokai on your team and he uses that correctly.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it just seems like they're creating their own problem, and then they're crying about it, and it still seems like they're going about it the wrong way, right? So I mean, like I said, we don't have an ear in the boardrooms, but like I'm just going by what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is bleak. It doesn't seem like they're understanding how to solve their problem. And I mean, I don't have the greatest ideas, but I have some here and there that I think, would benefit kind of deal, and some of the ideas I've already spoken before, right? And it just, like I said, I mean, they're just kind of creating their own problem and making it worse. And hopefully they'll figure it out. Like, I mean, I definitely want them to figure it out because I don't want to end up playing, hour-long games. That's not going to be fun. I don't want that to be the norm, right? Yeah. As much as sometimes those games are really fun, right? Like when they're back and forth, and that's always, gets your adrenaline pumping, and that's really awesome. But, not ones where nobody's doing anything because they're all afraid to roam. And, any team fight is not really a team fight. It's just somebody touches somebody else, and then they all run.
Yeah.
Those games suck.
And to be fair, I'm not sure of your opinion, but I think Riot's doing a pretty good job. I mean, they're releasing a unique champion every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And they're unique. I mean, there's not really a copy. Maybe people would argue there's copies from other games, but within League of Legends, they're unique champions, and I think they're doing a great job with lore and all that. It's just, kind of weird in the patch preview that they say, okay, we're gonna fix a problem which they've already created, and then when they do say that, and then they don't fix that problem,
yeah,
that's pretty much what we're trying to say right here.
Yeah, it's just a little confusing, and yeah, like they're, yes, I do believe that there's definitely a lot of good stuff coming out of Riot. I mean, I wouldn't be playing this game if there wasn't, right? Yeah. But it's just like I love the fact that they're pretty supportive of their community, but I hate the fact that they've closed and locked the test realm, and now they're like, derp, we don't know what to do, derp. And, it's like, well, how about getting that stream of feedback in again? and I mean, we've talked about this before, right? Like, it's just open the test realm up again. I bet all these problems that you guys seem to have will maybe not totally go away, but at least lessen. Like, you'll have a valve there to, to lessen the pressure. But but they've still been pretty adamant about it, about keeping the test realm closed. And I don't know. As far as I see, their community managers don't do fuck all. They just make videos and jerk off. I mean, I go on the forums and I hardly see a red post from any of the community managers, and it's like, this is your job. You guys aren't the programmers or the guys who make shit happen. You're people who are supposed to deal with the community, okay? Don't confuse your identity with Morello's. Morello actually has a fucking job to do, okay? You guys jerk off on camera, and then you don't do anything else. Like, those are the minor things about Riot that...
Not naming any names or anything, of course.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna... I'm not gonna name any names, but, I think those people would be better served using their time on the forums and actually addressing problems that people have, and instead of letting them rage and simmer and sit there while, you're giggling on camera.
I agree to an extent with what you just said. I agree there should be more involvement directly within the forums and the community. But I will kind of disagree with you in the fact that I think what Riot is trying to do, with releasing these videos is, I mean, it's a free game and you've got competition out there and they're trying to bring in more people. So I think what they're doing with releasing these spotlights and all of that, patch preview notes and the new community thing, which is okay. But I think they're just trying to bring in more people. I mean, every video that they release, the next day it's got over 100,000 views.
Yeah.
And you can see it at the top of, like, YouTube. And that's going to bring in people to play the game, which is free, and that has a lot of competition. And it's getting publicity, and it's being accepted into tournaments now. It was just, stated that it's an official game of, what was it, WCG?
Yeah. Yes.
Which is amazing. And I think as far as Riot doing a great job with the community within tournaments, I think, what is his name, Marco or something like that, I think he's doing a great job. But I agree to some extent that they should absolutely open the test realm, but somehow they got to balance it into that once you do release, people into the test realm, people are going to post onto YouTube spoilers and stuff like that. But, I think that's obviously the only reason why they ever did that. But other games, I mean, they do that quite fine. And in fact, they release, like you look at StarCraft 2, they release patch notes of changes, weeks in advance. And people complain like crazy, and things get changed. But Riot doesn't do that. I don't know. Just a comparison there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to talk here regarding the tanky DPS changes. If you look at Sion, I would argue that Sion, they did correctly. If anything, he was the only one I think they did change to what they said that they were going to, which was to, make him less tanky.
Yes.
They did that by reducing his shield absorption and damage a little bit, 10.
Yeah,
But, I mean, 10 matters.
No, it does.
And base health regeneration, I didn't really think it's too much. And then health per level. He was the only real champion that had a change to health per level, I think.
Yeah.
As far as for the tanky champions.
No, for sure. I mean, that base health reduction is actually pretty substantial. I mean, by 70 health, like, that's the early game, that's hard. That's a hard hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, no, I you know what, I definitely agree. They did go about Sion right. I think there was a couple of things that, a couple other things they might have wanted to address, but beyond that, it was
well, yeah, he's far from being fixed.
Yeah.
This is a good start.
Yeah.
And
I mean, well, you know what? There's a lot of stuff that went on with Sona. Did you play her? The updated Sona?
Yes, I have. Uh,
What did you think?
well, she's amazing now. I mean, she's actually a viable support champion. I mean, her change to the passive, the power chord, um, that brings in much more utility. You have to figure out when you want to use it, which aura you want to have on your third attack, or your attack off after your third ability. You have to keep track of that. I mean, it brings in a lot, and then they increased. What do they increase? They increase the power ratio to everything, but they decrease the damage and heal amount. It's still, I don't think, too substantial. Although if you look at the base heal, rank 5 of the base heal went from 175, from 130. Oh, it's increased. It's increased to 175. Well, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that there is amazing. She's a viable healer, absolutely.
They reduced the AP ratio.
One thing I've noticed, I don't know if it's a bug, but before power chord would not proc on a tower. So if you did your 3 auras and you have power chord ready and you attack the tower, you would still have it so that when a champion comes and ganks you or whatever, you could then use it. But now, I don't know if you noticed, it procs when you attack that tower, and who cares about reducing the movement of the tower?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I mean, I would like to keep that, because Sona, you have to keep spamming your abilities. I mean,
yeah, that's...
you have to, especially...
She's a female Udyr, support Udyr.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I just think it's like it's kind of a waste. If maybe that's a bug, I don't know. They should definitely fix it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, you're not. I mean, the only chord you'd want to send out is power chord, the staccato one, for as far as like hitting towers go. I mean, you don't. You're not gonna be able to debuff the tower, so those other two are fucking useless. I don't. Yeah, but hopefully it's a bug though. I mean, it's got to be a bug.
Yeah.
Especially if it didn't work originally. But they also did some neat stuff with the experience. I didn't at first I was looking at it going, okay, that's not too bad. And then some people were kind of QQing that it would affect jungling in some way, or what are they trying to do? Make it so jungling's unviable? And I've kind of been noticing a trend of people saying that lately too. Just like Riot's trying to kind of get rid of jungling, and I had one of the Riot staff say something, and he said, "Now I'm not one of the developers, so take this with a grain of salt. But from what I've heard in the office, it sounds like they're trying to make it so that jungling isn't as necessary. That you don't take quite such a hit when you don't have a jungler." And that it's basically even if you decide not to take a jungler against a team that has a jungler. So I mean, to me personally, I don't know what you think. I like that idea. I mean, to make it so that you don't have to jungle, that's that to me makes more sense. I mean, than anything else. I mean, why do you have to? Why does it have to be a part of the game, right? Well, it gimps you severely, you're not able to gank, and blah, blah, blah. Well, if they make it so it's jungling can really be optional, then that'd be sick.
Yep. No, I think it's I think it's a pretty good change.
Well, I mean, like, just because right now the way with jungling, I mean, a lot of people could argue, oh, well, I've won against people who have a jungler, and we didn't have a jungler. But I mean, that's probably because you had a shitty jungler, a shitty team. Like, if you go up against a team that knows their stuff, and you're a team that knows their stuff, and they take a jungler and you don't, you will be gimped and you'll notice it. Like, it just right off the bat, you'll be like, yeah, shit. So, I mean, to those naysayers, it's not fucking optional. You have to jungle right now. you're up against a skilled team, you got to be jungling because they're going to be jungling. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's that to me is if they really are doing that, if they're looking to do that, and I don't see why they wouldn't want to do that. That's a definite thumbs up from me at least.
And not only could they also be jungling, but there's quite a good possibility that there's going to be a roam ganker or even an anti-jungler as well.
Yeah, a counter jungler. So yeah, exactly.
I mean, I see a lot of roam junglers or roam gankers, regardless, and they still have a jungler. Good thing like Alistar doing that, or a Twitch stealth going around up and down. All he does the entire game is go from one lane to the next.
Yeah, roaming is kind of relatively new. I mean, well, maybe it's not new, but I know that this is pretty, like, I've never heard of the roaming technique, months ago when I was playing this, right? But people did it, so I don't think there was a name for it until just recently. Unless I'm wrong, like you've...
I think the name roaming has definitely been around since the beginning, and probably even back in Dota there were roamers.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, I doubt it wasn't just someone who just played League of Legends and said, hey, why doesn't someone just try and gank each lane? I mean, the thing with the roamer, though, is if you don't kill, you're way leveled.
So hard.
Yeah. And certain champions can do it. Others, I would never even want to try.
Yeah, I was watching this video on a roaming Alistar, and they're pretty deadly if used effectively. Holy crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Flash pulverized headbutt into two people in a turret.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
No, and another, what I saw? I saw something really funny. Double jungle.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that was so cool. Like, what a cool concept. It was, the one I was watching was a Shen and a Nunu. They were both jungling together. So the Shen took the red buff and the Nunu took the blue buff. And just from there was taunt slow, like, oh, it was brutal. They just didn't let up. They constantly, always got their ganks off, because they couldn't get away, right? Like, I mean, you've got a Nunu that's closing a gap with his slow. Shen's going to taunt you, and that Shen also has a red buff, so he's hitting you while you're taunted. You're already slowed from both the red buff and the snowball. Nunu has reduced cooldowns, so he's going to throw off that snowball again really soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a deadly combo to watch, and I thought, fuck, I want to try that, man. Oh, I want to try that so bad. So it was a really interesting strategy. I don't know, what did you do? Did you ever want to try out double jungle?
No, absolutely not. If I see that, I pretty much surrender. Unless it works. I mean, I don't think it does work, especially if they have a jungler. I mean, your minions you're going to kill is way less. If there's 3 junglers on the map, I don't really see it working. It's more of a troll strategy, I think.
yeah, but Colby, huh? 2 champions each gain 55%.
Well, there you go.
Up from 50%.
Well, there you go.
So double jungle is now viable.
It's absolutely, and not only that, I think that they did that experience because of ARAM.
Yep, most likely.
Absolutely. When I read that, I was like, awesome. 2 extra experience. ARAM is going to be that much quicker. Seriously, that's the first thing I thought of as soon as I saw that. And they really should come out with an ARAM. We can talk about that another day, but yeah, ARAM trying to get to level 6 is like 10...
Oh my god, it's
so long. Oh my god.
I've been loving the 3v3 lately though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I go through phases. You know what I mean? Like I've always stuck with 5v5, but here and there I always go back to 3v3. It's just I don't know. It's fun. it's usually faster, not always, but usually faster. And I don't know, it's just more intense and on the edge of your seat, you know what I mean? You have such a wide lane between the two towers. There's the jungle's big, like there's a lot of different camps. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really cool, it's a cool map, I think.
Yeah, agreed. We should
about
probably skip that for another one though, because we still have lots to talk about here. I don't know if you even wanted to talk about the thing underneath that, which is the death timers that they recently changed, because that is another big topic that I could just go on and on. I think it was a horrible idea. I don't know why they did it.
Why they increased the timers?
Why they reduced your...
Yeah, why they reduced them in the first place? Yeah, I know.
No idea.
I don't... Okay, yeah, they were like, yeah, let's make games shorter by making them able to revive faster in the game. Yeah, let's do that, okay?
And it did the exact reverse, because when you're trying to push a lane, you couldn't kill the towers because they spawned quickly.
Yeah, I remember having more hour-long games after that patch.
Absolutely.
Any other time I've ever played the game, I was like, wow, before hour-long games weren't even really a problem. Now it's like, what the fuck? I can't even push.
Yeah.
Like, and then they also buffed the minions, which I thought was cool, but in conjunction with the decrease in death timer, it was like, what the fuck? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You're decreasing death timer, buffing minions, like,
yeah,
buffing tower.
Well, if you call armor pen a buff, I mean, I still think they need to do something with towers. I mean, you can still dive it the same amount, I've noticed.
Why they reduce damage? Like, because they reduce damage and put armor pen on. Like, why not just put the armor pen on and be done with it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand what they're doing with the death timers, and with this patch, they increased it from levels 4 to 17. So really, I think what they were trying to do was for new players. You know, you die, who wants to wait 20, 30 seconds? I don't know what it is at level 1. But who wants to wait, and then you got to walk all the way up with no boots.
Yeah.
I can see that as a new player, you know, being a big turnoff.
Yes. So, well, yeah,
But, I mean, it did a reverse effect. I mean, trying to even kill Baron. If you do a team wipe, you have to decide, okay, am I going to kill one tower? Or if you don't leave right then and there, you got to, you know, you're not going to get Baron because they're up again.
Yeah, exactly.
Before, I mean, you could do Baron and push 2 lanes, no problem.
Well, they definitely, I mean, yeah, exactly. I agree. And they gimped early game, which drew out the game.
You think they gimped early game?
Sorry?
You think they gimped early game?
Well, yeah, with the death timer decrease and then the minion buff kind of.
Yeah, the minions, I'll agree with you on that. And
they made it harder to push. Yeah. So the early game was like, okay, now I can't, you know, I've just killed both champions, or we've just killed both champions. Now we're pushing this lane. Oh shit, they're back. Okay, you know, let's kind of hunker back now because now we're overextended. So an enemy jungler could come right up behind us. So now we're backing off, having to let them push. It draws out early game. It did, sorry, now that they've increased the timers a little bit. But even then, it's for 4.
And they didn't even say what they increased it. It just says increased slightly. So great, the 1 extra second.
Yeah, I know. We increased it slightly because they could get away with anything.
And really, they didn't even increase it at rank 18.
Yeah.
So I completely disagree with that. I think it should just put it back to the beginning and then change it so from 1 to 4 or whatever, you run back a little further. I mean, dying at level 1 doesn't change the game.
Yeah. I don't.
And I think it was fine when you did the 2 teams at the beginning where they're trying to find each other and someone dies. By the time everyone's back together, he's back in the lane anyways. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't see any issue with that.
there's no, to me, like, it wasn't a punishment except giving gold away to the enemy team, because you're back up and it's all good. You haven't lost out on really that much experience or gold, so, and it should have been more, it should always be a punishment to die.
Yeah.
Like, it should be something where you're like, oh, I died early game, no biggie. It should be, fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know what? They also teleport, the summoner ability, you know, for newbies. That's the only ability you take. So when you're dead, it's not like you're like, oh crap, now I gotta run back. Chances are, if you're playing the game for the first time, you're gonna have teleport, and you can teleport back to that tower.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I had teleport to like 20.
Yeah, yeah, same here, man.
Easily.
Same here. I was nursing teleport for a while. I was loving that shit. I'm like, oh, thank you, teleport. Thank you. But I mean, yeah, so the logic behind it just kind of confused me. They're like, yeah, we want to shorten games by making them longer. Like, that's exactly what they did, you know? So.
Well, it seems like they thought it would work, but I don't even know if they tested it. Did they do any internal testing? I don't know. I'm sure they did.
Well, they'll say they did.
Well,
I mean,
they did, yeah.
That's the thing, because like in the last patch preview, Morello was like, yeah, so we kind of decreased the timers a little bit too much, so we're going to bring them back up a bit, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, so why didn't you know that that was too much of an increase in the first place, unless you didn't test it?
Exactly.
You know, so. I
mean, I played one game, and I knew it increased the time, not reduced.
Yeah, same here. I was on that. Yeah, it was pretty immediate too. I noticed the length of my games, my average games increasing. I was like, wow, okay, so this was a bad idea. This wasn't the greatest or most well thought out plan.
Well, they did a good thing with changing the cannon minions. Now spawn every other wave at 35 minutes when it used to be 20. That's a great decision. I mean, 20 minutes, and that right there, I mean, that's a 15-minute gap. They knew.
Yeah.
Having it at 20 minutes just is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little too early.
Too early. 20 minutes in the game, I've still been in the laning phase.
Yeah, exactly.
In rare games, but, you know, having those minions there, I don't know, in theory, I think actually having those minions, would that not have made the game shorter? Because your minions are that much stronger. But at 20 minutes, I think most towers were down anyways, so.
Well, yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, I mean, at least, see, and this really depends, right? Like, on some, like, if you're against a skilled player, maybe, you know, maybe not, right? You could be they could be a couple towers down, and you could be a tower, and you could be a tower down kind of deal, or you could have all their towers down. You know what I mean? It's just, it's really kind of random sometimes, it seems like. But, as far as that goes, yeah, I don't think putting in the cannon minions every other wave and 35 or even on 20 minutes, I don't really see how much that would extend the game. I don't know. It seems like a very minor detail. I'm sure it affects it, but I can't. You know,
and in actuality, I don't even know if cannon minions are that much more effective, because it's one minion. Yes, it's got more health, but I don't think the damage changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I would say that the ranged minion does more damage than the canyon minions. If you have like 3 or 4 ranged minions attacking you in a wave, I'm more worried about that than the canyon minion.
Yeah, with the cannon minion, the only good thing going for it is that it attacks faster, and it can tank those tower hits because it takes I think a 20% reduced damage, I think, from towers. And 20 is it 20%?
What, armor pen?
No. The cannon minions don't.
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, because I know they have a flat damage reduction. Or not flat, but a percentage-based damage reduction from towers. And and you even see it when the tower hits them, that little like faded shield.
Mm-hmm.
They get hit. So they're good for that. Like as far as that goes, they tank the hits while you're smacking the tower. But I don't know. By and large, I just think it would be a minor detail. Like I said, maybe some guys crunching the numbers can prove otherwise, but as far as I see, it's an inconsequential detail. If anybody can prove me wrong, by all means, but as far as I'm concerned right now, it's just a minor detail.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty good on the patch notes. One other question I wanted to ask you regarding it is there's 191 thumbs up on this. Would you consider this patch a good patch compared to the others, or do you think it was useless?
I don't think it was useless. I thought it did a couple of useful things, couple of questionable things. With casters and with quote unquote tanky DPS and another cast, we're gonna have to get really down into the terminology here because it gets so confused so easily. But yeah, no, I definitely don't think it was.
So would you say, did you like the patch?
Yeah. Yes.
I would agree.
I like the patch. It made Sona viable. It nerfed a champion I really liked, Kassadin, which upset me, but not an overall big deal.
One other thing here I'm reading we didn't even talk about. Banshee Veil refresh time increased to 45 seconds from 30.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
So many people were crying about that, yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought that was totally coming.
I agree.
I was like, wow, the shield is up so... To me, the shield was always up. You could hit it down, and then for a bit of back and forth, it's back up. I mean, it was noticeable how quickly it would come back up, and maybe people will argue this with me endlessly, but 30 seconds isn't that long. It just fucking isn't. In a team fight, yeah, but when you're roaming and you get hit by the odd shot, or if you're in lane and you get hit by the odd shot, it comes back pretty quickly when you're seeing it. Like, it's like, oh shit, now my ability that just came up, I can't even hit him with because he'll just shrug it off. Oh shit. But then again, some people would say, oh well, if somebody has a Banshee's Veil at this point, would you even be laning? No, probably not. But to me, it came back too quickly, and I think that 15-second increase was needed.
It was needed, but I actually think it's not enough. I think they should bump it up to 60 seconds.
You think a minute? Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I was thinking...
But if they do that, they have to decrease the cost.
Yes, for sure.
Because in a team fight and you're Malphite with Banshee Veil, if you're in the front and Ashe volleys, you're kind of screwed, Yeah. 60 seconds. Really, Banshee Veil, I don't think should be the end-all, be-all. I think it's a nice thing to have. Certain champions need it, like Katarina with Banshee Veil is awesome with her ult.
Yeah, it's too much of a good thing, and it needs to be nerfed.
Yes.
You know what? They've been going to town with Spirit Visage, so you know what? Fuck all those people who love Banshee's Veil because my Visage got hit. Want to see other people suffer right now. That's all. Like my friends, they were like, "Oh, this sucks," and I was laughing at them, just going like, "Yeah, it does suck, doesn't it? Doesn't it?" But I mean, I thought it was needed, and when I said that to other people, it was immediate facepalm with them. Oh, how could you say that? It wasn't needed. Oh, it was. I'm like, really? A 30-second spell block? Come on, guys. Are you kidding? You're immune to spells every 30 seconds. Like, yeah, one spell, but you could be immune to any spell.
Yeah.
So, and that's what makes it every 30 seconds. So, I mean, no, there's no way. It needed a nerf. It needed a nerf at some point because it's basically the staple of almost every tanky DPS build.
Yep.
And it just needs to be nerfed. It gives you health, mana, magic resist, and a spell shield. Why not? You know? Why not nerf that?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Karthus's alt get disabled if you have Bantu Bell on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear I've done that before, and because
And it
go
did
into
block
a team
it?
fight. No, I think it does block.
Okay.
Now, I mean, it's for Karthus players. I mean, that's amazing because before you could do a team fight, someone would be low, maybe you'd have to wait for net mana or whatever. You had to move from positioning. You would see someone's low, cast the ult, and it wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yep. Fucking.
Just for Karthus players, I think that's awesome for them.
Oh yeah, because just get down to shield for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
So okay, so that's a good almost hour just on patch notes.
I know. That's why I don't think patch reviews are effective. Because they spend like 4 minutes talking about something like what we just did can take an hour.
And we skipped a lot of stuff. We didn't talk about Kassadin, Lux. We didn't talk about Zillion.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that Vagar buff.
Yeah, well, the Vagar skin change, yes. Rock on. Yes, that's it. And Gragas, I mean, I play Gragas a lot. Barrel roll damage reduce, that sucks.
Yeah, 15, I didn't understand that either. I
think it's like Garen. They're trying to make, in reverse though. Garen, they're trying to make more DPS, and Gragas, I play him AP, but they're trying to make him more tank. All of his recommended items are tanks. And reducing his abilities just means you're going to go tank. Simple as that.
Yep.
So, that's that. Okay, did you want to talk... We were going to steal something from another show, which we won't name. But the idea of talking about a champion, every cast.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no. Well, you know what, man? Honestly, I wanted to talk about Ryze because I thought that, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but I just really think that change is, it's awesome, Like, it just, they took a champion that was stale and they totally freshened him up, and maybe some people argue with me on this, but I think he's a caster in his own, kind of realm right now.
He's what I mean? A casting assassin. I mean, simple as that.
That's the thing. He also, to me, I would liken his status to Swain right now, just because Swain is viable tanky. He can be that tanky caster, right? So, I mean, do you agree? If you don't, you can say so.
I honestly haven't seen the tanky Swain, but I can see it working. Because really, I see any champion going tanky working. Because that's how the metagame goes.
That's true, right? Sadly enough. But I mean, I just think something I saw that was really awesome and great, and something I tried out myself was Spirit Visage on Swain, and it gives his ult, like the healing you get off it, a nice boost. Like it's noticeable, and it's like stuff like that. You build yes, you get your AP items. You build a couple of tanky items too. But the thing is, with Abyssal Scepter and Phantom Hourglass, you can be a tanky caster. Like you throw Phantom Hourglass and Abyssal Scepter, and you've got some really fucking good magic resist and armor right there. And couple that with Spirit Visage and whatever boots you decide to get. I'd probably go Sorcerer's Shoes just for that pen, considering I'm boosting all my other stats anyways. And like you just go from there, and he can still be this deadly caster who's taking damage. And this is what I think is really funny, because they do stuff like nerf the regen on Spirit Visage. And it's like, oh yeah, we're just making it so, these tanky DPSs can't do what they're doing. But that's not the problem. That like the regen that you get from an item isn't making somebody tanky. That's not what it's doing. These health items, these abilities that give health, they're the ones that make people tanky. So it just kind of baffles me because, you know, again, it's a problem that's feeding on itself, you know, and it's spawning over to casters. You know, like now it's not uncommon for a caster to fucking take some damage and belt it out at the same time, right?
Yep.
But I mean, here I am kind of at the same time praising Riot for turning Ryze into a tanky caster. But I mean, I think that those roles can be viable, but when you put an emphasis on them like they have, it just fucks everything, you know, and it draws out games. And eventually, when everybody catches on to it, it's just going to be these tedious fucking team fights where people are just getting whittled down bit by bit. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've done an excellent job on Ryze. He needed a change because back before when he was all about AP, you rarely see an AP Ryze now. But back when he was AP, that combination with his ult and his E would just kill anyone instantly. There's so much burst damage that and one overload and they're dead. So they fixed that, and they for some whatever reason that he was like the lowest AP I've ever seen for like any champion I would consider a caster. I mean, I remember going like 200 AP and getting like plus 50 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And he was never played because how would you play him? So they've come now and they said, okay, we've changed the cooldown system with the passive. Every spell you cast reduces the cooldown of every other spell by a second. That's a great mechanic. And then instead of making the more AP you have, the more damage you do, they made it so the more mana you have, the more damage you do on the overload.
Yep.
Not only that, you can spam overload with cooldown reductions and its passive. You know, you can shoot it twice in 2 seconds easily.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Absolutely. It's definitely a reduced damage as far as an AP style. But if you build him mana, you know, in cooldown reduction, he does a hell of a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, he's like a spell machine gun right now. You know what I mean? He can just shoot it out.
And what I found is with the new Ryze, I never run out of mana because you're building items
that will give you mana.
Exactly. And before it was like, well, you had to go AP, and you know you'd bring clarity with Ryze. Now I rarely bring clarity with Ryze.
Yeah, you don't need it. I mean, you're getting Tear of the Goddess first.
Yes, absolutely.
And then from there, it's just spamming spells. You know.
Get the what's the thing?
That mana up.
Goddess? I forget what that item's called.
Oh, Archangel Staff.
Yes, that gives you 4 mana every spell cast you do.
Yep. And you get a bit of that AP boost, which isn't bad.
Yeah, you get AP based on the mana you have. I mean, that's an essential item now. That's the first thing I go for. That and maybe Rod of Ages or something like that, or cooldown reduction with Glacial Shroud and the mana from that. Yeah, and I played them with just buying Sapphire Crystals because it adds that much more damage to his overload.
Well, yeah, that kind of reminds me of the Anivia video where he gets those 6 mana stones, and just have you seen it?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh my god, it's the most trollingest video I've ever watched. It's just this guy playing Anivia, and he's like, so I'm just gonna get 6 mana stones because I'm gonna need all the mana I can get for this champion. And that's all he buys. Like in the beginning, he gets a mana stone, goes back, gets another one, just fills up his whole thing.
Is this the one where he's like, okay, I'm gonna fight this guy, and I died, and I run back and respawn, and it's better now, or something like that?
Well, yeah. He also threw like a wall in front of his Olaf.
Yeah. Okay, I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I was gonna say now that strategy would almost be encouraged with Ryze.
Yeah. So where do you see Ryze in a gameplay? If there's already a mage, would you pick him? If what lane do you think is viable at mid? Can he be the roam ganker?
I don't think he can be the roam ganker. Well, I guess that depends, right? If you're playing with a game of just your friends and everybody's coordinated, then yeah, it's possible. But if you're solo queuing, or even just doing like it with like a couple of other friends, it might fuck up really easily just because somebody might not be aware that you're coming up. I mean, his Rune Prison is really great, but early on he isn't doing the greatest amount of damage.
And
So
in actuality, I would say that Rune Prism is the last thing I level up.
yeah, same here. I'm usually getting my Q constantly, like my Q immediately. And no, but yeah, no, I don't think as a roam ganker, if I did see another caster on my team, and yeah, you know what, I would still pick Ryze either way because I think he's a good supplement to to any team. You know, I mean, he's got a snare, and you know, and then he can do like a shit ton of AOE damage with his ult. So he can contribute in team fights and contribute in ganks. Like there's no reason, like he's just a really good champion in general. And since like we've been talking about, the metagame's been kind of going towards tanky DPS, you're most likely going to be looking at least 3 other guys that are going physical damage and they're tanky, right? So you might as well get another caster. Like why not, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the lanes go, I'd say any lane would be good for him, really. I mean, can last hit well with his Q. He can harass good. He's just an all-around...
You can last hit with his Rune Prism now, too, because it does the face value up front.
Yeah.
I've been playing that a lot. You Q last hit, and then you Rune Prism last hit.
Yep.
I mean, it's awesome to last hit with him.
Oh, yeah, he's got some good last hit spells, that's for sure. And both of them they scale off his mana, so... I mean, there's just, oh, man, I love him. Like I said, I love the changes to him. And I mean, it just, his whole build just encourages you to spam spells all the time. Like, when you're Ryze, there's no reason why you shouldn't be casting a spell right now. You know, there's no reason. And I mean, even with his ult, as soon as your ult's up, put it up there, get your health back up with a spell vamp. Do it now, you know? Because it's going to come back up pretty soon if you're casting your spells as much as you should be.
Have you tested that? Like, I honestly, spell vamp on his ult, was it 15%? I don't notice it too much compared
Yes,
to...
I
I don't notice
noticed
it too much. Have you tried stacking spell vamp with him? I haven't.
what I want, you know what's funny? I kind of want to try, some people will probably laugh, I kind of want to try getting a Hextech Gunblade with him.
I think that would be fine.
And see where that goes, you know what I mean?
Yep. And there's that new, what is that, tome thing, which I think gives AP to everyone, to allies, and spell vamp, I think. Is that what that does?
Sorry, which, oh yes, the Will of the Ancients.
That's it, yes.
Yes, that's, there's only 2 items actually right now that support spell vamp. Well, 3, I guess, if you count the Hextech Revolver that you used to build in the Hextech Gunblade. But yeah, it's just Will of the Ancients and Hextech Gunblade. Pretty much, those are the 2 full items, and they're the only ones with spell vamp.
Yeah, I have no idea why they ever removed that from hunting, guys. Now no one uses it.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It's funny too because it's not necessarily a bad item. It's only good for early game. I mean, you only get 200 health, 20 mana, magic pen, and 25 ability power. So, you know, you're not getting a lot. I mean, it's cheap and it's effective, but only early game. Beyond that, it's useless, and it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't build into anything. It should build into something.
I think it builds into one thing, doesn't it?
Really?
I don't know. I can go to the learning center and click
go.
on items. But I'm assuming it does something. It's not like a Doran item, which is just there to get.
Honestly, I don't think it builds in anything.
I honestly don't even know how updated this thing is.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, it doesn't, but I'm going to check Leaguecraft right now. Okay.
Let's see.
It doesn't, though. I know it doesn't. It's absolutely, yeah.
It builds from Ruby Crystal and Amplifying Tome.
Yep. But yep. Nope.
You get magic, penetration, 200 health, 25 ability power.
Doesn't build into anything.
Yeah, it's useful.
And it should. Why not? Like, make some kind of a mask spell item, something gay like that, you know?
Yep.
Like some kind of voodoo mask would be the item in the end. Like, yeah, that and a needlessly large rod, and there you go. Or that with a blasting wand and a giant's belt. Actually, no, that would support the fucking... What am I doing? See, look at what I'm doing. I'm supporting the metagame yet again. The blasting wand and a fucking... the Kindle gem. Yeah. Reduce... Fuck, no, that gives health, though. I don't want to give health. I want to give something else.
It's an item that they need to
Mana regen.
either remove or make it build into something, because right now...
Nobody's getting it, yeah.
I don't even think it's on anyone's recommended item. If it is, it needs to be removed.
Yep, it had a good old spell vamp, and then everybody was like, yeah, no, it's useless now.
I saw it all the time when it was spell vamp. I mean...
Yeah, so did I.
It was working. I don't know. Did it actually... No, did it ever build into... no, it didn't. What's the thing that Udyr used to always get? Innovating Locket. No, it wasn't part of that, was it?
No, it wasn't part of that build.
No, that's another thing for another day. But, yeah, did you want to... I guess we can get into... Unless you have anything else you wanted to talk about, we can get into user questions.
You know, well, I mean, I got a lot to talk about, but, you know.
Oh, I could talk for another couple of hours here, absolutely, unless I'm all for that.
Yeah. What, like, would you basically just edit this and,
No, this is live.
Oh, this is all, okay, so
this is going in. I'm not editing anything.
Man, you're gonna have to split this into a lot of parts then, eh?
No, I can upload any amount of hours I want.
Oh, okay, nice. Into one video. Oh, okay, sweet. Well, not video.
I could do it in parts though, which probably shouldn't be talking about this right now. But.
No, we should. Anyway,
I might have to edit this out now.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, Ryze. It's very nice to see some reworkings going on,
and I would recommend him because he's like 450 IP.
Yeah, he's cheap as hell. Go for him. Actually, I think he's 1350.
Oh, you're right. Yes, he is 1350.
Yeah, I think he used to be 450, and then after the rework, those fuckers made him 1350.
I don't know why, because he's the go-to guy. I mean, you go to their website, you got Ryze and Katarina.
That's his face, yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But isn't Katarina like 3150?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. They have her because she's the leader of the Noxus and blah, blah, blah lore.
Yeah.
Right?
Lore.
Okay. So yeah, did you want to just get into user questions here?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
So what I've done here is, obviously this is our first show, so we don't have any user questions, but if anyone for our next show wants us to answer any question, feel free to write a comment I'll post this on YouTube below, or you can send an email to me at colbylolvideos@gmail.com. Did you want something that they can send it to you, or should we just funnel it into one thing, or?
Yeah, we can just funnel it into one thing. I'll make an alternate email.
Yeah.
And then we can just go from there.
So we'll try, if you have a question in the YouTube, and if we don't respond to it, don't think we're jerks. The thing is we're just gonna save it, So we have something to talk about. No trolling questions, and
well, I mean, yeah.
Feel free to ask about anything,
Yeah, anything. Even if it seems silly to you, doesn't really matter. I mean, in my head, I might go like, fuck, but I'll still answer your question.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go through all the 60 questions or 100 questions. We'll do some.
There won't be any ridicule here, okay? But I am allowed my own thoughts.
We will defend ourselves, though.
Oh yeah, no. We will defend ourselves with ridicule.
Yes.
If so, but there won't be any unnecessary ridicule.
Okay. So I've taken some questions just from my regular videos that I've never really taken the time to answer. So I think this would be a great time to do so. I'll start with a question here. I got Mundo and I love him. Only one huge flaw, ranged players can hide behind minions, so when I cleave, so my cleave, this poor grammar, so my cleave throw fails and they can harass me. Any tips? So this is obviously someone who's never played Mundo, and then to combine that, there's another question here regarding Mundo. According to my video, they recommended that I should max cleaver first, max cleaver and burning agony first. Poor grammar again. At last level, cleaver does equal damage to 25% of the target's health. It also slows, so you can kill someone just by walking alongside them with burning agony on and slowing them every few seconds. Now I know, Jaster, you play Mundo a lot, so I'll let you answer that one.
Well, as far as the first question goes, I mean, look, if you can harass, it's not a huge deal. I mean, yes, look for openings when you can, but if you're feeling a little bit too afraid to get up close, last hit with your cleaver. Last hit minions with your cleaver. Wait for them to get low health, then hit them. It's really easy to do it. Your cleaver has pretty decent damage early on. And, yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, don't sweat it if you're not harassing them as much as you want. Guarantee you they're going to leave an opening at some point. And if you're kind of moving back and forth and you keep kind of clicking around, you'll get them at that one point, and then you just throw off your cleaver real quick and you'll hit them. I mean, it's not too big of a deal if you're not harassing them. I mean, obviously, definitely try to, but another good thing to know about cleaver is always fucking every once in a while hit that bush near the river. Whether you're on top or bottom lane or middle, whatever. I mean, you might not be middle. I mean, I hope you're not middle. It's not bad being middle as Mundo, but let's not get into that. Anyways, just throw your cleaver into that bush every once in a while, okay? Just to check. Make sure that nobody's waiting there to gank you up the ass, okay? So just every once in a while, check that. And that's just a little kind of side tip as far as cleaver goes. But yeah, I mean, just if you can't get your openings, last hit minions, and you should be fine. And as far as the second question goes, I definitely would not recommend maxing Cleaver and Burning Agony first. Yes, get your first initial point to Cleaver, so you can start harassing right off the bat, and you can get your last hits if you're facing off against like two ranged or guys that are just harassing you off the chain. Yes, get that first point always, but no, after that you max masochism, or masochism. Like, that's it. Like, you keep going, your ultimate comes up, get your ult, keep going into masochism. Any other point is invested in the cleaver thereafter, and then you get Burning Agony. Why? Because Burning Agony does low damage, so you're definitely not looking at it to last hit minions or even kill a champion. It just damage way too low. Secondly, if you're getting it early, you're gimping your own health and regeneration. Also, your cleavers cost health, so if you're missing those a lot, and you will if you're playing Mundo for the first couple of times, you will miss it a lot, and therefore you won't even get the little refund from hitting something. So, I mean, you're just going to gimp your health going in that direction by maxing Burning Agony and Cleaver. And another thing, you may argue, oh, well, it reduces crowd control. Well, you're not really worried about crowd control early game laning phase. I mean, keep your eyes open so you don't get raped by a jungler, and you should be fine. I mean, crowd control reduction won't really change the fact that Warwick's coming to stun you, and now he's slowing you, and now you're dead. Because all you did was max Burning Agony instead of getting Masochism, so you could have turned around, and at mid to low health, you could have started chopping the fuck out of them, because the lower health you have, the more damage Masochism does. You're just throwing your cleaver at him, you're just fucking chopping away, and now he's running away from you. and now you're just going to turn your ult on and chase him until he's dead. So, I mean, no, don't max Burning Agony and Cleaver first. Go Cleaver into your, like, first point into Cleaver, then from there prioritize Masochism. And that's all there is to it. Obviously, ult when that comes up, but then go back to Masochism. And then, after everything else is maxed, or you can't touch anything else, then you go Burning Agony. And that's when, because that's generally when the team fights are starting and shit's getting nuts. And by then, you've already got your Merc Treads, and your CC reduction is going nuts at that point. But no, I definitely don't max Burning Agony first.
Yep.
Not.
I agree 100% with you. So are you telling me that you've never been killed by a Mundo who's infected cleaver you'd so many times that he can just walk by you and kill you with Burning Agony?
No, I can't say that has ever happened.
It's never happened. Not only is that the weirdest thing I've ever heard, you'd have to hit like every cleave, and if you're that close, chances are they're going to attack you, not just keep running away.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Slowly kill them.
And their initial small amount of magic resist is already going to mitigate the small amount of damage that Burning Agony does. I mean, unless you want to go crazy with all caster runes, be my guess, but no, that's just not the way to go, and you're definitely not going to be doing any noticeable damage. If anything, you're going to be doing more damage to yourself going that path than anything else.
So I guess one part of the thing that we didn't really focus on, we talked about, he wanted tips, yes, about the cleave throw, but it looks like he's having issues with ranged players. I don't know, is ranged players harassing him? Because it says he's one huge flaw is ranged players can hide behind minions, so cleave fails. So I'm assuming maybe he's having issues. I'm assuming he's one of those aggressive Mundos that has to hit every infective cleave and you know, go after ranged champions, which you shouldn't really.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, you know, don't be so worried about harassing. Like, focus on your last hits then.
Yeah.
If they're harassing you hard, and like I said, if they're both ranged, or if one of them's ranged and he's hitting you hard, then you just last hit with your infected cleaver. You've got a fucking good amount of range with it, like far enough that you're standing well away from the action and still managing to pop off last hits. And if one of those enemy champs gets in the way of one of your last hits, then oh well, you just harassed them. There you go, congratulations, and keep going. You know, just that's always, you know, just don't. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Don't sweat the. If you can't harass them, no biggie. Just farm up. That's all you can do then.
Okay, no, that's good. Hopefully that answers his question. Got another one here regarding that was posted that was posted on my Caitlyn video. I'll skip a little bit because he just kind of, I guess, thought I did a horrible job. But he said, well, why am I watching in team fights and so many auto attacks you could have thrown at them? Just play an AP carry if you want to use your spells. Caitlyn is a bad champ mid, by the way. You can get much better results being on the side lane because her Q is harder to dodge when you can see her channeling it in the brush. Can you see her channeling it in the brush?
No, you can't see anybody channeling a spell.
I wouldn't think so, no.
You see it until after.
I kind of agree, though. I'll answer this one a little bit. I kind of agree that, yes, she is better on the side lanes because there's her passive, a headshot, which procs twice as fast when she's standing in the bush. But in that particular game, I was with a Sion, a Rammus, an Evelyn, and someone else, Olaf. It was a jungle Olaf. So, I mean, Sion was solo top anyway. Technically, I could have ran up there, but I don't really think so. And as far as saying that she's, you know, to play, if I want to use my spells, I shouldn't be playing a ranged carry. I should be playing an AP champion. I think that's kind of weird to say because Caitlyn is kind of one of those strange things. She does lose damage when she channels that Q, but the first person she hits with that Q loses a lot of health.
Yeah.
It's about the
Okay.
same, and not only that, if you auto attack, you're only damaging one target. In a team fight Q, you can take down quite a bit of health. I do think they need to change the channel on her Q. It is a little bit too long. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
and then the whole thing about dodging the Q, I think it would be just as easy to dodge if she was mid, if not easier, because you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have anything to add, fine. If not, I'll
Well,
go to the
I,
next.
I was gonna say with regards to what you said before about auto attacking. Well, what he kind of neglected, I guess, to realize or even mention was the fact that in any of those team fights, it was well, not in any, in almost all of them, the team fight was going bad for your team. Like, you guys pulled through and won, and that was awesome, but your team was doing not so swell. A lot of the team fights were kind of disjointed. So you naturally kind of held back going like, all right, I'm not going to commit because everybody's kind of fucked up right now, so I'm just going to shoot off my abilities and do the damage I can. And you did. And you did get off some kills, and you played a cautious game because you had to. I mean, you were playing with, as far as I saw, some silly people, and you played a cautious game because of it. There's no, I would have done the same. So, I mean, as far as that goes, and I don't know. It just seems to me like he kind of took in all the negative details and refused to understand anything else about the game.
Yep. Okay. Question here. I don't know if he's trolling or not. I think he's being serious. He's wondering what Baron means.
Always wondering. Wait, sorry.
He's wondering he says, what does Baron mean?
Oh, Baron is a title of nobility. The word Baron comes from Old French Baron, itself from Old High German and Latin. Baro meaning free man, free warrior. It merged with cognate Old English Bjorn meaning nobleman. That's what Baron means.
There you go. Next question.
Alrighty.
Alright, Colby. Okay, this is a post on my Nasus video, and I think there's a couple here which I'm going to lump together like what we did with Mundo.
Alright.
On over my cord. There we go. Colby, take Sheen first, then make Trinity Force works wonderful on Nasus, even as DPS and not as tank Nasus. Sheen is the best thing to increase damage because it works amazing with Siphoning Strike. I agree with that. I don't know why I wouldn't go Sheen first, but I kind of disagree that, if he's saying to rush Trinity Force, I don't really think that's a smart move.
Not really. I don't know about you, but I go Aegis of the Legion first with Nasus.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would argue that I don't because I think it's a very good thing. I mean, I don't really need all that damage early. I just don't. I'm just getting my last hits off minions. I'm just farming up some gold. I'm harassing here and there when I can. I'm not looking to break the bank in damage right now. And as far as that goes, even with Sheen, I will be doing more damage, but it's just, I want my survivability now while it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I want to get my tankiness up a bit. So I get that Aegis of the Legion. It gives me health, gives me armor, gives me magic resist. Gives me an aura that buffs my damage a bit and buffs armor and magic resist to anybody near me and their damage a bit as well. So, I mean, and that aura also applies to me. So, oh, sorry, I was just eating a peanut there. So, I mean, to me, like that is one of the, it's just a really good item that I usually get with Nasus. And then I get my boots, usually Merc Treads. And then from there, then I get Sheen, which I then build into a Trinity Force. And then I get Guardian Angel, and however the game's going, maybe I'll get another damage item, or maybe I'll just continue tanky, depending, like I said, depending on how the game's going. It's all kind of situational, but yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't seem really that smart to rush Trinity Force. I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it, so maybe there's some kind of hidden viability there that I'm missing on. But I've done my build, and it works very, very well. But maybe I'll give it a shot one day and put it to the test. But I personally, it doesn't seem like the smartest way to go. Yes, it could be viable if you're fucking steamrolling them, totally. But you know, in a game where you're up against people who know their shit, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I agree. Sheen is actually the first thing I get. I wouldn't get Trinity Force until you've got other items. It's one of the last things you buy it because you already have Sheen. And it takes a lot to get that. If you rush that, you're going to be pretty underdeveloped as far as items go. So you say you actually take Aegis of the Legion. So does that mean you prefer tank over AD Nessus?
Yeah, I guess I kind of build them as a tanky DPS, but more towards the tank side.
Okay. Yeah, I used to play tank, but now all I do is DPS. It's so much better, and it's a great feeling to walk up to a tower and just destroy it.
Clean it,
yeah. Yeah, and if you can last hit every minion, you're gonna get that up so damn fast. And they've increased it too. What was that?
Yeah,
2
I
patches?
know, to 3.
To 3 damage. When I read that for the first time, I thought, oh crap, that's all I'm playing now.
Yeah, I know. It's such a difference. Such a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because it's basically a multiplicative effect, right? Like as the damage increases, you notice how much greater the benefit is of just that one extra damage. I mean, from 2 to 3, it's a huge gap when you're at 100 last hits, right?
Yeah.
Like they're 200, 300. Like it just the gap becomes wider and wider as you increase the damage on this on Siphoning Strike. It's fucking amazing. I love that buff.
Yeah.
And if anything, I mean, I'll you know what? Like I think I'll most likely reconsider my thoughts on DPS Nasus, and I may go Sheen. And then, do you put Yomu's Ghostblade on him?
No.
Oh, you should, man. Cooldown reduction, fucking 80. Oh, that shit!
Yeah, actually, that would be pretty crazy. I don't really see it. I see it would absolutely, you would wreck someone when you use that. Yeah, I guess it would work. I think people would flame you, though. In game. If you saw, you said Ghostblade, right?
Yeah, and then
if I saw Nasus using Ghostblade, like if it was one of his first items, I would question that.
Oh, it wouldn't be my first item, that's for sure.
No, absolutely.
No, definitely not. If I wanted, I would definitely be going Sheen first. Then I get my boots, and then I go Yomu's Ghostblade. Oh yeah, and then go Hex Drinker, and then fucking go nuts.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be very fun, actually. Now I want to play. Oh, not till this weekend.
Yeah. I was trying to find another question. I couldn't find one, but I just thought of one. There was someone who was mocking me or advising, I should say, that in my Rammus gameplay, I leveled up Taunt first, and he said, no, you should level up Powerball first. And to be nice, I really think, how does Powerball scale per level? They've already decreased the slow amount. Does it go faster? It just does more damage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just increases the damage. Like
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you need taunt with Remus and having it at rank 5, was it 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds? I don't know exactly.
Yeah. I think it was,
Having that at like what? Level 9? No, not level 9. What level would that be? 13, something like that?
yeah,
It just wrecks when you come out of a force and you've got someone taunted for...
3 seconds, 3 seconds, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course you'd bring taunt up first, and Powerball, all it does is increase the damage and the slow. So, I don't know, maybe somebody told him something different, that it goes faster per level, or that the speed lasts longer, but it certainly doesn't, and there would really be no point in leveling that up,
Yeah.
or like first and foremost. I would get it first, and that's it. And then the rest of it, yeah, I'd invest in taunt or the shell shit.
Okay. A few more questions here. Someone looks like a new champion. Or new summoner, I should say. Is there like a basic rune build for all chars? My summoner level is 13. I am trying to get all the cheap champs so I can't waste too much IP on runes.
Well, right off the bat, I wouldn't buy runes before level 20. I waited until 20 before I bought my runes because I didn't want to get 1 and 2s knowing that 3s are the best, and I'm eventually going to get 3s. I might as well just wait. If anything, having more IP will ensure that I can actually even fill out a rune page by the time I get to 20, or at least 30. But, which is actually exactly what happened in my case. But, I would say, as far, if you wanted, at least for future reference, a general runes, I would say, like, I can't really say like what a general page should be.
Well, some people are so anal that they have a page for every champion.
Exactly, right. Now I have a couple of general pages, but even now, even those I switch out, like here, I switch runes out here and there.
I have 2 pages. I think I've told you this before. My pages are AP and Garen. Those are my pages. So if I'm not AP, I use the Garen page, which is like armor pen, cooldown reduction,
Yeah.
dodge, and I haven't bought runes in so long.
Well, I had all the mana regen runes, so the nerf to those was hit me hard. But oh my god, why? Okay, never mind. Sorry, sorry, man, I totally blanked out there. What were we talking about?
Well, I just think it's a waste of IP if you want to go and
yes.
buy runes for every champion. There should be like mage, AD, tank. You can even do ninjas if you want, but
yeah, as far as yeah, because you actually can get energy regen runes, but anyways, no, yeah, like as far as general runes would go, because I don't know your flavor of play, whoever's asking this question, but armor pen marks, all the kids are using health quints now, so you might want to get those. But armor pen's really fun too. So, and I didn't mean to sound condescending. I actually literally mean that pretty much everybody has health quints, so you might want to consider those. But I have armor pen quints, flat armor seals, flat magic resist glyphs, mana regen per level glyphs and seals. Consider those. Cooldown per level glyphs. Attack speed quints. Critical strike chance or crit chance runes as well. Any kind, marks, seals, or glyphs. Like those are all, and dodge seals. They're fucking obscenely expensive. But another thing, they're all kind of part of the general thing. But if you wanted a good starting thing, I would suggest getting flat armor seals. um, armor pen marks and quints, and magic resist glyphs. Just get those first and foremost, because right off the bat, whether or not you're building tank or squish or whatever, you have a bonus 13 armor and 13 magic resist, along with 25 flat armor penetration. Like, you can't say no to that at any point. And then after you get that, like, get magic penetration, and then whenever you're playing spellcasters, there you go. You know, so you got a basic kind of footing, and you got a bit of cushioning to protect your ass, because you're probably still figuring out the game, and like me, I fucked up a lot, so that might happen to you too, and this will give you a little bit of cushioning, so you don't suffer as much. So, yeah, that's, those are maybe a, general page you might want to look at is, flat seals and glyphs, or flat armor seals and flat magic resist glyphs with armor pen quints and marks, or magic pen quints and marks, depending on, like I said, what you like to play the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't even care about runes, honestly. Like I said, I bought runes just because I had all the champions, because I was one of the people who got both bundles as soon as the game came out. So I had all the champions, and since then, every 2 weeks, I've saved enough IP to get the next champion. So I had enough IP as I was leveling to get runes when I was 30. So it's kind of hard to say, but if I was to do it again, I don't know. I still say if you don't want to use real world money for champions, I say use your IP for champions. Yes, you do need a rune page, but I wouldn't invest, a specific page per champion, or even to do it like, really you need to figure out what champions you like to play, which ones you're good at, and then build a page specific to him, yes, but also if for whatever reason he gets nerfed next week and he's unfun to play, I mean, that's a huge commitment on runes. So you need to, think what other champions would be good if I got these runes compared to just a specific champion. And never use the rune combiner, which, is that even still around? I have no idea. Jaster?
Yeah, sorry, man.
I basically just told him,
no,
whatever.
No.
Never use the rune combiner.
Yeah, no, I know what you said, okay?
That's still in the game, isn't it?
I've used the rune combiner, and
Oh
it never, ever gives me anything fucking useful.
It's so... Why even have that system?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They need to do something with it, or something. It's just... Yeah, it's so random. It's not even...
It's not worth it.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Exactly. I don't know. That's enough we'll talk about for runes. Another question here, not related to League of Legends specific. It's more directed to me. Question I get all the time. Here's one that I think matches like so many different questions. I don't like fraps. It works great, but the recordings are stuttering. Some other stuff like Wii Game, I don't know what that is, and Chem Studio weren't good too. So what do you use? Please help me out, because I'm a bit of stuck with it. Well,
what a cunt.
I get this question all the time, and I'll answer some. The others, it's like, well, I'm sorry, I can't copy. I should just copy and paste an answer to every question. But so fraps, yes, it may not look like it, but I lose a good 30 FPS when I'm recording with fraps. I go from 60 to like 19s, so what was that, 40 FPS? Wow. And then in team fights, it doesn't really lag for me. I think my computer's pretty good, but it drops down to like 12 FPS. But obviously when the fraps vid is done, everything's back up to the 60, or whatever you set fraps up to. You can set up to 100 or whatever full version, half version. I haven't really used anything else just to recommend, except for the new, uh, what was it, fan-made LOL replay. If Fraps doesn't work for you, like if it's too laggy to play and record, I don't think you're going to find any other program recording software that's going to help you. You should download LOL Replay. I'll put a link in the description or whatever, maybe on the screen. And what it does is it records your replay after every game, which you can then play, and you can record then. I don't know if it fixes the lag. Regardless, you'll still have the video and you're not playing with lag. So you can, it's easier to play if there's no lag, obviously. But if you don't have a good enough computer, that's the only thing I recommend, because I don't honestly know what else to use. And really, with League of Legends, I've noticed Fraps does lag a lot compared to other games. I don't know what it is, but it drops shit dramatically. Like when I play StarCraft 2 and I record, I don't lose 40 FPS.
Yeah.
No, not at all. So, I don't know if that's something Fraps issue, League of Legends issue. I have no idea how that works. Okay, that's the last question that I grabbed. I just kind of picked a few, and this cast is almost getting to 2 hours. Anything you wanted to add? Any other type of shoutouts or anything you wanted to do before we end this cast?
No, nothing right now. I feel like we've kind of talked about everything that needs to be talked about. Probably could talk
Really?
about more.
I don't think we've talked about everything.
No, I just mean for tonight, because it's like almost midnight.
It's 11:42 here, yes, at night. So.
No, but yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so if anyone has any questions for us for next week, please write your question in a comment to this video or email me to Colby LOLvideos@gmail.com. Like I said, if we don't respond to it, it's because we're saving you for next week. And actually, we haven't even discussed if this is. We'd like to do a week. I like to do a weekly cast. I mean, we can easily do it. It won't be on Tuesdays though, because today's a Tuesday and most patches are on Tuesday. And if we want to comment about the new champions and whatnot, I don't think it'll work on Tuesday. Maybe a weekend thing or something else.
Yeah. All right, that'll work out.
See what type of reception. Maybe we're complete noobs or whatnot, and no one's gonna care. But hell, I'm gonna continue to make these and maybe bring in someone else. But I think you and me did a pretty good job. So.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. This is good.
Yeah, this is good for me. So thank everyone for watching, and we still don't have a name for the show. So if you have any recommendations.
I was saying Noxian Weekly, but hey,
Great idea. I was saying Colby and Friends.
I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, Colby and Friends. Colby and Friends so far.
And friend. So. And yeah, if you guys want to play with us, my name is Colby. I delete people every day who can't play, and then you can add Jaster space Mereel. I'm sure you'll love all the new people, friend requests you're gonna get.
Well, I won't be seeing them until this weekend.
That's right.
I don't really know. I don't really.
Well,
I'll have to experience.
When am I gonna post this? I don't know. I might post this tomorrow. I'm obviously not gonna work on it tonight, I don't think. And hopefully it works out and we don't have to cast again.
Oh, I hope not. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but I think it would just feel forced because we'd have to fucking repeat everything.
I'm not repeating it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the match and then
next one. Yes.
All right, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Jaster, and thank you everyone for watching. And please subscribe. Thank you.
See you guys.